Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. This is a B1 level business English lesson. Today we're starting the final unit in this course on workplace problems. Today we're going to be talking about the vocabulary that you need to solve workplace problems, including things like reason, result, and purpose. So here are some questions. If you'd like to answer in the comments to generate some conversation, feel free to do that. Where do you work at the moment? What do you like about working there? And are there any things that you don't like? So now we're going to read the sentences below and see if you can explain the meaning of the words in bold. And then again, in the comments, if you would like to share, talk about whether you've experienced similar problems before. So Abdu says, my company still relies on outdated business practices. I have to communicate with our customers by text. So outdated just means not modern, old-fashioned, maybe somewhat inefficient. My boss asked me to write a 200-page report by tomorrow, but I told her that the deadline was totally unrealistic. So deadline is just the date that something has to be done. Unrealistic is basically something that it's not practical or likely, probable that a person would be able to accomplish it. My manager is difficult to work with because he always tries to micromanage everything we do. He wants to control every decision. Well, this last sentence really is the best definition of micromanage. Just means to control everything. I left my last job because I was overworked. We had to work weekends and there was little vacation time. So again, overworked just means working too much or working more than a reasonable amount. We find it difficult to keep employees at our company. Turnover is high because people don't like working here. Turnover is just people quitting and then other people being hired and then those people quitting. So just a constant, hiring, quitting cycle with employees. I feel like my manager always gives me all the boring tasks to do. It's so unfair. So unfair just means that you think that you're being impacted negatively in some way. All right, so let's match the vocabulary words with the definitions. You can pause the video, try that on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. So to manage especially with too much control or attention to detail, that goes with number 4, micromanage. Old and not as useful as something modern, that's number 1, outdated. A date or time before which something must be done, that's number 2, deadline. Not realistic, inappropriate to reality or fact, that is unrealistic, number 3. Not morally correct, not reasonable, that's number 7, unfair. Cause to work too hard or too long, that is overwork, number 5. And the number of people hired to replace those leaving the company is number 6, turnover. So you're going to read an article about common problems at work. So let's read the introduction to the article below. What's the problem? Workplace problems are more common than you think. There are all kinds of reasons why you might have trouble at work. It might be because you feel that your salary is too low or that you work too much. Perhaps your boss micromanages you, or maybe your problem is due to unfriendly colleagues or an office that is too small or uncomfortable. Most people experience a workplace problem at some time in their careers. These are 4 of the most common. So maybe take a guess and see if you can figure out what these 4 common workplace problems that the article is going to talk about. Right, so here are the 4 headings within the article. And it says, what do you think the article will say about each problem? So make some predictions. Bad bosses, little or no raises, lack of tools and training, and office politics. All right, so now read the first part of the article to see if your predictions were correct, and then you can answer the questions below. Bad bosses. It's hard to do a good job at work when you don't get along with your manager. You may dislike your manager because they are unfriendly or they don't give you enough freedom. Maybe they expect you to work too much or they never thank you for your work. A bad manager can be a big problem. Little or no raises. People want to get rewards for their hard work, and they especially like raises. Many employees leave their companies because they can find a higher salary at a different company. To keep employees happy, employers should offer raises every year. So, according to the article, why might someone dislike their manager? Well, it could be because they're unfriendly, don't give you enough freedom, expect you to work too much, or never thank you for your work. Can you think of any other reasons why someone might dislike their manager? Um, Maybe one reason if the manager has favorite employees, he or she gives some employees special favors. Sometimes it's also difficult if a manager doesn't understand the work that the employees are doing and can't really offer any technical advice or support. So those are some other possible problems with managers. According to the article, why should a company offer their employees a raise every year? Um, to keep them happy and also to probably prevent turnover. If people, feel that their salary will increase, they won't have as much of an incentive to go looking for another job elsewhere. Do you agree that it is a good idea to offer a raise every year? Why or why not? And you can answer this one in the comments if you would like. Now, the second part of the article, lack of tools and training. It is the responsibility of a company to provide employees with the resources they need to do their job well. This includes modern tools and detailed training. Because of poor training, employees might not be confident in themselves or perform their best. Office politics. Office politics, or the behaviors used by employees to gain power, can be impossible to avoid. There are always some people who have more power than others, and social relationships that develop and have an effect on who has the power in a company. This can be a problem because sometimes people care so much about their own personal interests that they will hurt others in order to succeed. So, according to the article, what might happen if employees don't have modern tools or good training? Um, they may not be confident in their jobs and not perform their best. Do you agree that it is the responsibility of the company to provide tools and training? Why or why not? Again, this is an opinion question that you could answer in the comments. And what does the article mean by office politics? Explain it in your own words. Again, it's trying to hear the behaviors that employees use to gain power. So, have you ever experienced any of the problems described in the article? A bad boss, little or no raise, lack of tools and training, or office politics? If so, were the problems resolved? Why or why not? And if not, how were you able to avoid these problems? Again, you can answer those in the comments to generate some conversation. Right, because and so. Because and so are used when we describe reasons and results. Because introduces a reason for something, so introduces the result of something. Both because and so come after a clause, a subject, and a verb phrase. I quit my job, that's the result, because I needed to take a break from work, that's the reason. You can also put the reason first. I needed to take a break from work. That's the reason. So I quit my job. I was late to the meeting because I missed the train. I missed the train, so I was late to the meeting. Because of, as a result of, and due to all introduced reasons. However, they come before nouns or noun phrases. I left work late because of the long meeting. He received a pay raise as a result of his excellent performance last year. Our flight was delayed due to bad weather. Because of, as a result of, and due to are not followed by a clause. We were pleased because of, as a result of, or due to the project ahead of schedule. So we would not put we finished. We were pleased because, oh, again, so due to finishing, because of finishing the project ahead of schedule. So you can use a gerund after because of, as a result of, or due to when the subject is the same as the main clause. Right, so now make a sentence by linking the halves of the sentence together, keeping in mind result, because, and then the reason, or the reason and so, and the result. Okay, I am thinking of changing jobs because I want to do something more challenging. We are opening a new factory due to an increase in demand for our products. We hired a new sales manager, so hopefully sales will increase next year. We decided to reduce production as a result of disappointing sales figures. She was offered a promotion because of her excellent performance. And I have an appointment this afternoon with a new client, so I'd like to postpone our regular meeting this week. All right, so now discuss the questions below and describe the reasons and results using because and so. And here are a couple of examples. I wanted to be a sales representative when I was younger so I could meet lots of new people. I decided to join this company because of its excellent reputation. So again, you can answer these questions in the comments if you would like. Why did you decide to join your current company? What did you want to be when you were younger and why? What's a successful company in your industry? Why is it so successful? And what's a well-known product in your industry and why is it so popular? All right, we're going to listen to a woman describing her problem at work and then answer the questions true or false.
I work for a startup company. Everyone has to wear many hats because we only have 10 employees. As a result, I work way too much. I work more than 60 hours a week, and I am not paid enough. I don't want to leave the company because I think that it is going to be successful in the future. I'm hopeful that we can raise some more money and we can hire some more employees to help me.
All right, there are 20 employees in her company. Well, that's false. She said there were only 10. She is not satisfied with her salary. That's true. She wants to leave her company. That's false. She said she liked it and enjoyed the work. Her company recently raised a lot of money. That's false. She said she hoped that they would, but they haven't yet. All right, here's another listening.
I have a coworker who really bothers me. He is the laziest person I know. He always arrives at work late because he overslept. And then he disappears for half of the workday due to personal reasons. Whatever that means. He never gets in trouble because he is so good at pretending to work. Sometimes he starts meetings on his computer with himself so that he looks busy on our office communication system. The worst part is that his salary is higher than my salary.
Okay, so he thinks his coworker should work harder. That's true. His coworker often gets in trouble with their boss. That's false. His coworker is always in meetings. That's somewhat true. I'm not sure if always, but he's in meetings a lot. And his coworker earns more money than he does. That is true. So, see if you can predict what words go in the gaps, and then when you're ready, restart the video, and listen for the correct answers.
I work for a startup company. Everyone has to wear many hats because we only have 10 employees. As a result, I work way too much. I work more than 60 hours a week, and I am not paid enough. I don't want to leave the company because I think that it is going to be successful in the future. I'm hopeful that we can raise some more money and we can hire some more employees to help me.
I have a coworker who really bothers me. He is the laziest person I know. He always arrives at work late because he overslept. And then he disappears for half of the workday due to personal reasons. Whatever that means. He never gets in trouble because he is so good at pretending to work. Sometimes he starts meetings on his computer with himself so that he looks busy on our office communication system. The worst part is that his salary is higher than my salary.
So, what are the reasons and the results? So, read ESM's workplace problem. What do you think are the reasons, and what might be the results? I have a coworker who ignores everyone on our team. He just arrives in the morning and then leaves at the end of the day. He never talks to us at all. So I think Isam's coworker is quiet because, and Isam's coworker never talks to anyone. So complete those sentences, and if you want to do that in the comments, that would be great. Here's another one. My boss never trusts me to do anything. He always watches and micromanages everything I do. So I think Lady's boss micromanages her because, and Lady's boss doesn't trust her at all. So, and finish off those sentences. And that brings us to the end of today's video. Please like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.